Welcome to High Oracle's Reiki Spiritual Healing Channel. And it's been almost 2 years that I have been on this healing journey, that I came on this journey as a mission to spread the healing and loving kindness of God. You know, what He has sent down and the things that people have omitted or were misleading people to tell them in the holy spaces. Some of the people who have been paid by the entity in the holy spaces not to be authentic. So with that being said, when you are on a healing journey, then you have to understand that your discernment is at an all high level, and you can see the people that will walk behind your car, covering their mouth. People who are taking a picture of your tag. I'm pretty sure by now that they probably have put trackers or something on me on my car. But this is what we understand about the healing journey, about the entity when they're targeting you. Okay, then it's meant to put you in fear. So, when you have no fear, then you have to be very honest. And like I say, I like to tell people the truth. If I'm not going to be in fear, I'm not going to live in fear. So, we have to make sure that this is a spiritual defense, that you have to defend yourself. If anything negative, should come at me, or anything on your journey that is negative, that the entity should send a person to try to harm you, it's very, I'm very aware. And, it's very atrocious that, you'll see the same person 3 and 4 times, stalking you, gang stalking you. Okay. So since we don't live in fear, then we have to understand that the spiritual defense is also allocated to physical defense. And when you're physically defending yourself, you're spiritually defending yourself from entities that have been inserted. There's a glitch in the matrix when you're seeing the same person 3 and 4 times, day in and day out. Okay? When you have people that, is taking a picture of your tag, and, and you see these people, you see them. And they're talking to someone, and then all of a sudden the person that has been, stalking you on a bike, flies by. Someone just comes out of the blue and talk to you. I've been in, in different places over a year. But I have, certain places that I like to be, especially, near elderly facilities, schools, and things of that nature, residential areas. So there's certain places that I like to be. And, I've been changing up my routine. And when you're seeing these types of people that, I don't know what they are trying to do. But whatever it is, I'm not going to speculate. I understand that, whatever it is, I have to be very honest and say, I will defend myself. So if you see me on the news, where I have, just went ham or committed atrocities, over unaliving, then you understand why. Because there is no running when you're targeting me. Okay, there is no running when you are tracking me. Okay, so we understand where we are with that. So we have to be able to tell people the truth. I don't know if, these are some black market people, or, the black web, or whatever it is. or whatever it is that they're interested in me, you can't live in fear, and you can't, at some point you have to stop running. So, I'm going to take precautions. Because I'm on a healing journey. And, obviously, these people do not want me to tell people how to get married. They do not want me to tell people how to spiritually defend themselves, how to spiritually cleanse themselves from attacks, from women and men, warlocks and witches that have given themselves over into the entity. And I wanted to make sure that you understood that when you reach a certain level, then you have to, make it very clear, apparently clear, that if you, this ain't what you want. That's what I can say. I'm going to wash tomorrow. I got some things going on back here in the background. And I'm going to wash tomorrow, and let that be the reason, because I don't have anything to do on Friday except for pray and go wash and make sure that I purify myself. So, if you want to follow me to the wash house, I already got my hair braided, and, I feel much better. My head feels like, lighter, so I'm good with that. And, just purifying yourself from any kind of negative energy. And, it's always best to tell the truth, and shame the devil. So, we don't run from anything that, is coming into our court, because if it come in here with me, I'm going to do my best to unalive it. And that's just how I feel about it. As long as it's out there, talking trash, and, I've been here 20 years, you know who you, okay, do you understand that you're a human? Okay, I understand that I'm a human, and if you come in here, what we have is a problem. So, that's where I am. And, these people that want to gang stalk you, like I say, there are certain things that you can do in order to stop these people from gang stalking you. And, I have been healing and cleansing my situation, and I am aware. I have been aware for, a couple of months now that, there's some very messy people that will try to target, people who they think are vulnerable, or people who they think are homeless, or do not have anything, to offer society. So this is why we have to make sure that when we have separated ourselves and we have set those boundaries, that we stand on business. We stand on business, that anything that look like it moved out of, out of the way, is moving shady, is moving to the left. We're going to make sure that we put it down. We're going to put it down, and maybe you guys can read about it, on the internet or whatnot. But, this is the stance that I take. And I hope that all of you understand that, if this ain't what you want, I got, anyway, we rely on God, and we pray to God that, he restrained people's hands from us, and he restrained our hands from them. And if it comes down to it, let us, be a soldier of God, and do what needs to be done to straighten these people, these narcissists, that wants to instill fear, or, think that someone is prey when they may be the one that is prey. Now just look at you. Okay, so, I have enjoyed this journey. I have been going to vintage shops. I found a Lilo and Stitch shirt. I have been going shopping, okay? And I have been, just clearing out a lot of things that I needed to get rid of, and replace. I still haven't found any more of the of my scarves, these large scarves that I have. And, when I get to wherever God is leading me, I'm going to buy some new scarves and, get rid of all the old ones. And, God knows best, what is going on my journey. And he has the best plan, and he is the best of protectors. So this is, my story about my healing journey. It's almost been 2 years now. And I've been on this journey, but I've learned a lot. And, I am, well reserved, and I'm observant. When people think that I'm not observing, I'm observing people trying to stand in my blind spot, and I see things for what it is, but definitely, I like to portray myself a certain way, but definitely I'm not the one, I'm a little shark. Okay, so, they can get it. They can definitely get it. So, I appreciate all of you guys. Please like, share, and subscribe to me. I hope that you guys enjoy this channel. Book your one-on-one life coaching sessions or your video chat sessions. Book your consultation so I can acclimate a gift to your situation if you're on a healing journey. I'm High Oracle, Reiki Spiritual Healer. Assalamu alaikum.